The right-wing backlash to the leftist perversion of society has arrived, and I, for one, am glad to see it, to be honest.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm absolutely tired and sick to the back teeth of what leftists have been doing in society in general. Which, and let's be clear, it's not that they've been just doing their own thing either, right? Because if they were just doing their own thing, it'd be very much like Scientologists. I'd be like, okay, I just don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
you're nuts, but you're nuts in your little corner.
exactly. It's not affecting my life. But the problem is that they are not just staying in their own lane and getting on with their own lives. The problem is that they're trying to actively indoctrinate not just you, but your children. And we have got a really great example of exactly what they've been teaching our children on lotus.com, which is a really, really good video that you did with Thomas, wasn't it, Harry?
Yes, one of our listeners sent in a school curriculum that they'd found on the Seattle Public Schools website, which was talking about the LGBTQ plus blah 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 curriculum between kindergarten and 5th grade, which is 5 to 10-year-olds. And Tom and I went through and examined what exactly is they're teaching and how it is leftist subversion of the most classic kind.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, just how unrepentantly leftist is this?
Oh, absolutely, it's an 11, at least. The guy is not only he's not only teaching your kids how they can be boy, girl, or something else altogether, he's wearing a phenomenally Latin X shirt to let you know that he's in deep with every single aspect of leftist ideology.
And that's the real problem that I have with all of this. It's the total lack of restraint. It's the total lack of consideration for other people's perspectives. This is the only legitimate way of looking at things, and if you don't do this, then you're some kind of bigot. It's like, okay, well, that can only go so far. And eventually, people are going to be like, you know what, I'm not a bigot, or if this is bigotry, I don't care. You're not going to be able to, I don't know, indoctrinate children in classrooms. Say, let's talk about the Don't Say Gay bill. Right, now, we've covered this before, so I won't go into detail. Let's have a look at one of the reactions.
Properly titled, we should call it the Antigroomer bill.
The Antigroomer bill, that's right. Although they didn't have a title for it when they first put it out.
Which was the mistake.
Definitely a mistake. But, and so they've characterized as the Don't Say Gay law, even though that's not what it's called at all. But notice how far that they've resorted in their argumentation. So, you're not allowed to be, you're going to not teach people about gays. And it's like, no, we're not going to teach people about straights either. Like, no sex is going to be mentioned in a 5-year-old's classroom, if that's okay with you.
Which is a good thing.
Which is a very good thing. And they were like, this is bad for gay people. And I was like, that didn't work. Oh, now this is gay for black people? Bad for black people. Bad for gay black people. And it's like, really?
How are you making all of these abstract connections? They all seem like non sequiturs from one another.
But it's just such an obvious cope. It's like, this is harmful to gay people. No, it's not. Well, this is harmful to black people. What? You know, you can see them like seeding the ground, right? I love this. It will have a harmful impact on black LGBTQ youth, say critics. So it's sort of like, look, okay, so you won't let us groom the white kids, but could we still groom the black kids? And the answer is no.
We don't want you grooming any of them.
No, exactly. 0 kids should be groomed by you people, right? Anyway, so I love this. Florida's new controversial Don't Say Gay bill that bans all discussions on sexual orientation and gender identity has been repeatedly slammed by equality advocates as harmful to LGBTQ youth and their families. You can't teach kindergartners about sex, you weird perverts.
Also, how it will end up being harmful, yet to be demonstrated.
Absolutely. Quote, this will be incredibly impactful to LGBTQ students of colour. As if, the white students, well, sorry, we're going to sacrifice you to the right-wing machine. You know, we don't care about you. We're just here for the students of colour. In particular, black students, capital B, because of the compounding negative impact on their mental health and well-being. So students of colour and black students are just uniquely weak when it comes to their mental health? They're
obviously far more easily manipulated. According to this logic.
Well, yeah, according to Preston Mitchum, the Director of Advocacy and Government Affairs at the LGBTQ nonprofit, the Trevor Project. Why the hell would you go for him to an opinion?
Yeah, why would I care about what the Trevor Project has to say on this?
The West has declared war on Nazi Germany. We will not allow you to engage in the systemic destruction of the Jews. But here's Adolf Hitler's opinion. Like, why would you go to literally the people most invested in the thing that is being condemned? Anyway. Depression and mental health challenges and anxiety sets in and can really be debilitating for many black and brown LGBTQ folks. At least it's not debilitating for the white ones, I guess. Particularly when they're young. It's really important for us to have inclusive conversations in schools related to folks' race, sexual orientation, and gender identity. Yeah, it's really important to you. It's not important for the children. It's not important for the parents. It's not important for the schools or for their education or for anything that's in their favor. It's important for your ideology. That's why you're doing this. So anyway, don't worry, it's not the same thing.
Oh, okay.
But this gets worse, obviously. You got like Pete Buttigieg being like, oh, this is going to kill kids. No, it's not. No one's going to be killed by this, you hysterical alarmist.
No, I hate that everybody does this on Twitter, especially, and on the internet, but I'm going to have to throw out source, please.
Yeah, prove it. Prove this is going to kill anyone, because it's obviously not going to kill anyone. Like, literally, if we don't teach children about sexuality, 0 children will die from that as a causal effect.
Now, from what I've seen, the only argument they really have for that is the whole, it's almost the meme, the 41% thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I've actually looked into where that comes from, and as far as I can tell, it seems to come from statistics that say, of these youth who deem themselves as trans, I think it was between 26 and 43% have attempted suicide. And oftentimes these are people who are much younger, obviously suffering from other kind of mental health illnesses, as well as just gender dysphoria or whatever they're identifying themselves as having. And there's a big difference between committing suicide, actually succeeding and going through with it, and attempting, and obviously they're fudging the numbers elsewhere as well.
But moreover, I bet if we looked at the number of attempted child suicides, it wasn't significantly higher 30 years ago.
No, probably not. I mean, how are the stats looking among goths and alternative kids 15 years ago?
Anyway, Alabama is following suit. They have brought out 2 new bills. In fact, they've passed 2 new bills. One is the SB 184, which bans gender-affirming care for children, and the other one is HB 322, which also bans trans students for using locker rooms that align with their gender identity, as in, if you're a boy, you can't go in the girls' room. And it also limits LGBTQ content in classrooms due to an amendment. So they've basically done the same thing as what Based Florida Man has done, because children don't need to be talked to about sex, especially when you've got so many of these teachers being like, yeah, we're going to have these secret conversations. Don't tell mummy and daddy, says the groomer. I can't stand it. So the first one, SB 184, is the Vulnerable Child Protection Act. Great framing.
Yes.
What are you against protecting vulnerable children? And it states that anyone who provides gender-affirming care, which is puberty blockers, hormone therapy, or physical gender-affirming surgeries, anyone under 18 could be convicted of a felony and face up to 10 years in prison and a $15,000 fine. Good. You absolutely should not be doing any of these things to people who aren't even old enough to vote.
I mean, they make lots of excuses for 18-year-olds being unable to make lots of rational decisions due to their mental health and mental age. Oh, they're still only kids, they can't do this.
Yeah.
But you can make this massive life-changing decision and go ahead with all of the surgery that comes along with it. Yeah,
it's mad. I mean, it literally ruins lives, but who knows? Who cares? What difference does it make? That's the question for the progressives, basically. They say, but they went to one associate professor at the University of Alabama, Marissa Ladinsky, who said, when lawmakers attempt to practice medicine with a life without a license, they realized quickly that there was a lot more they didn't understand than what they thought they did. Sorry, what? You're not allowed to chop off the body parts of children. Well, you're trying to legislate medicine without a license. Okay.
Okay, is that what that meant? Like you said, the whole framing of that was really confusing to me, but okay.
Well, it is. It's like, okay, well, I accept that not surgically altering a child is practicing medicine without a license, and it's a good thing to not surgically alter a child. I accept that.
Well, where's your qualification? How are you going to prove that? Where's your study right there?
Well, since I'm not doing anything, I don't need one. The legislation also makes the claim that puberty blockers can cause infertility and other health risks. That's true.
I was going to say that's not a claim, that's just a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact, right? But this is what Ladinsky says. She says, these potential side effects only present real risks after puberty and are not a risk to youth taking puberty blockers. Just think about that framing. Think about the way that she said that. It's just big brain thought here. This only happens later on in their lives, and so at the time that they're taking the puberty blockers, it's not a risk. It's like, yeah, but they become older people later in their lives.
Your body just doesn't stop growing.
Yeah.
You don't arrested development doesn't just set into your bones.
They're not going to take puberty blockers forever, are they? Like, they're not going to be 55 years old and on puberty blockers and still have the body of a 10-year-old, are they? Like, at some point, they will grow up, and the puberty and the risks that have been incurred will be there for them. Looking to the future is necessary when talking about the health and education of children. Don't know why I would have to say that.
And surely even when they're older, when they're like, say, like 20, 21 years old, they all want to be an adult woman rather than just a childish girl or something.
Yeah, especially, even if they're transitioning, they want to be an adult of the opposite sex, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so this of course happened in the UK in the famous case of Carabelle, who said that she was essentially groomed into having her breasts removed when she was 16. And has taken legal action. The High Court did rule that trans children under the age of 16 are unable to give informed consent to such medical care as hormone blockers and hormone replacement therapy and medical interventions. However, this has been reversed recently, so this is interesting. We go to the next one. A court of appeal has judged that under 16s, in fact, can give informed consent to puberty blocker use. Under 16s, they can't give informed consent to anything. They can't have sex, they can't take drugs or drink, they can't smoke, they can't drive, they can't vote, but they can give informed consent to having their breasts or penis chopped off.
Ridiculous.
It is absurd, and I would love to hear what the doctor's rationale for that is.
And
BBC doesn't present it.
To me, this sort of behaviour opens up the floodgates for all of those things that you just listed, all of a sudden being within the realm of, oh, well, they can consent.
Yeah, why can't a 15-year-old give informed consent to all of the things that we say that they can't? But anyway, this, of course, reverses the previous ruling, so now the thing is up in the air. She is challenging this. I believe Carabelle is challenging this. But the Court of Appeals judges said that, quote, they recognise the difficulties and complexities of the issue, but it's important for clinicians to exercise their judgment, knowing how important it is that consent is properly obtained according to the particular individual circumstances. It depends on the trans child. That's what they're saying. It depends on the trans child. Okay. All right.
Right. And just as well, the difficulties and complexities means that we don't want people saying nasty things on Twitter about us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly it. But I thought we agreed that it doesn't depend on the trans child. So anyway, let's have a look at one response to this. Just, people going on about it on Twitter. A dark day for trans people. Alabama has passed SB 184, which means which forcibly medically detransitions all trans teens. I don't even know if I think there is such a thing as a trans child.
No, of course there isn't.
In the same way, there's not a vegan cat.
I think the whole framing and being able to frame it in such a way of this hurts or damages trans kids, this is an affront against trans kids, is just a lie. Yeah. That's what it is, because there is no such thing.
I don't agree. What adults do when they're adults is fine. And as adults, they can give informed consent, but I don't think children can. I think they're far too easily manipulated by the adults around them who apparently have a political agenda. That's not in their best interests at all.
I mean, going back to other stuff that we've covered with Disney, they outright say that they have a political agenda and no one's trying to stop them, or at least no one in these big corporations.
If anything, that would imply that they're in favour of it. But anyway, look at this, right? No, go back. It will force trans teens through the wrong puberty in front of all their peers. There is no wrong puberty. Your puberty is what your body is going to do, whether you like it or not.
This is the active fight against nature.
Yes, this is the fight against reality. The wrong puberty. How did you establish the right puberty? Like, how could you establish, it's someone else's puberty I should be going through? Your body has a teleology in it. You're going to go through a certain kind of puberty, which is your own, and it's not really special or unique, but it is yours, and that's it. There's no wrong puberty about it. That's just the way things are. But anyway, terrible. I cry for these kids. But notice that she doesn't cry for victims of those people who use this as a way to access vulnerable women and girls, as they did in, say, Loudoun County, as we covered on Lotus.com. Because honestly, this was a bit spicy, and I didn't think we should put this on YouTube.
Well, Stephen Crowder got hit for it, didn't he?
Exactly. And because this is precisely what happened. If you want to know what happened in Loudoun County, go and sign up, because I'm not going to talk about it here. Anyway, next up is Texas banning abortion. Good. I used to be very, like all liberals, I used to just be like, yeah, well, it's not something I have to think about or worry about.
I didn't have much of an opinion on it either way, because it just wasn't, like you said, it wasn't something that I really considered or had to worry about in the first place.
But I'm at the point now where I'm like, you know what? I mean, it is a bad thing, right? It is innately negative. have an abortion.
Yeah, well, that's where the whole, what was it, safe, rare, and
Safe, legal, and rare,
safe,
which was Hillary Clinton's
yeah,
formulation.
safe, legal, and rare came from is the recognition that there is something innately immoral going on here, which is that you are taking the life of this child before it even has the chance to be a life, but that there might be some circumstances where, for the safety of the mother, for instance, it's necessary. But that's been flipped on its head, and now you get pro-abortion activists. How are you pro-abortion?
Yeah. Well, no, you're exactly right. That's been completely flipped on its head. And what they'll do is they'll be like, yeah, but what if? And they'll construct some arcane situation that has either only happened once or never happened, and be like, yeah, so what in that situation? It's like, okay, in that situation, maybe, but this is being used by lots of women as, frankly, a form of contraception, and that's disgusting. Because as you said, the safe, legal, and rare formulation, to which I could have consented, and did consent, implies that there is a certain judgment of virtue and vice that goes into this. You know, the rare part, it requires a certain level of virtue on the part of the women who are potentially going to be able to get abortions. And that, as you say, has been turned on its head. They're like, no, abortions are now good. Anyone should be able to get an abortion for any reason whatsoever, and screw the life of the child. It's like, no, that's not fair. And it's gross that you think that murdering a baby in the womb is a moral good.
Yeah,
it's obviously bad.
I don't know if we've got it in here. It doesn't look like we do, but there was that image that I saw going around on Twitter of the woman showing her stomach and said, this is what 15 abortions look like.
Oh, God, how disgusting is that?
Why are you proud of this?
Yeah.
Why did you go through with them in the first place? But why are you proud of this?
Exactly.
Vile.
And it's to say that the babies themselves have no consideration in our society. And I don't really want to be the kind of society that gives no consideration to babies. I think it's disgusting. I think we should, really move away from that framework. And so the reason that I'm not against this really is because, you know what, screw it. You took you offered an inch and you took a mile, right? Texas, they brought this in, a couple of months ago now. They brought in this law, and the Guardian's framing of this. Oh, it's forced thousands of women to cross state lines to seek the procedure, or maybe they could just not murder their babies. Maybe
have the baby?
Yeah.
If you don't want it, as harsh as that sounds,
put it up for adoption.
Yeah, put it up for adoption. There are other options.
Yeah.
Hey,
Pete Buttigieg is probably.
Maybe if you're not willing or ready to have a child yet, maybe abstain from sex for a little bit. There is the Ben Shapiro point here of, well, I used all the protection, I did all of this. Yes, but sex still leads to children. Yeah. That is the biological function of sex in the first place.
And at the end of the day, you took the decisions. You should have to live with the consequences. It's just, I just don't know why else I have to explain this. But anyway, let's have a look at the number of abortions in America, right? Because it's kind of gross. You look at it. If you scroll down a bit. So this is from a Christian site, but I went and checked these statistics independently. They're from where's the place? I don't know. They're official US, the Guttmacher Institute, which is one of it's just an institute that tallies all this. But 63,459,781 abortions since 1973. 63 million.
It's not a great figure.
It's awful, isn't it?
No, that's not good at all.
63 million babies were killed because the mothers were like, yeah, no, I don't think so. It's just,
Thanks, feminism.
I mean, the thing is, the feminists, well, what about in circumstances of rape? It's like, these are not circumstances of rape.
No,
there's 63 million rapes.
Yeah, there's not the 63 million rape babies aborted here.
Yeah, no. And this it was on average since 1973 about 1 million a year, but this has gone down in recent years to about 620,000. So that's good, I suppose. But anyway, the reason I point this out is because Texas are like, yeah, so we banned abortion, and now if you have an abortion in Texas, well, you've broken the law for murder.
I mean, it's a pretty simple, easy to make logical argument.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even feel like condemning this at all. I think you wanted just abortion on demand, and that's a moral abomination. So now, if you're murdering a baby, you're a murderer. Okay, fine. So anyway, this obviously the abortion rights groups, again, abortion rights, murder rights. I just can't get my head around it. It's disgusting. But anyway, this Lizelle Herrera was in hospital. She claimed that she had had a miscarriage in the hospital, but then divulged some information to the hospital staff, which caused them to report her to the police because basically she had admitted that she had self-induced the abortion and killed the baby on purpose, and therefore, but of course, You get, activists saying this is a developing story and we don't know what happened yet. But this is taking away people's autonomy over their own bodies and leaves them with no safe option when they choose not to become a parent. You choose not to become a parent through not having sex. That's how you do it. I don't think baby murdering is actually the right way to choose not to become a parent.
I'm not a Christian, but it is
gross
factual that the only 100% guaranteed method of not becoming pregnant is abstaining altogether.
But again, if you're going to have sex, then you have to be ready to live with the consequences. That could be an STD. That could be having a baby.
Yeah. Also, just something else that sprung to mind on the whole framing of abortion is good because, it's not even a baby, really. It's not even alive yet. Okay, then why is miscarriage bad?
Yeah. My wife's had 3 miscarriages. I've seen every one of them. I can tell you it is a baby.
Yes,
they are absolutely a baby.
I also, without going into too much detail, have experienced what that is like in the past. It's awful. It's horrible. And if it weren't for the fact that we intrinsically, on some way, recognize that this is a baby, that's life has been lost, we wouldn't care about it.
No,
Why would we? What reason would we have?
Exactly. But it is alive, and it is horrible to terminate it before it can even have the chance at existence. But anyway, moving on. Finally, Texas schools are also physically removing LGBT activists in the form of teachers, which is fantastic. And their propaganda, which is great. So this is in MacArthur High in Irving, Texas. Began with just scraping off rainbow stickers that had been posted on the campus, which and also this led to where was it? Something like 3 teachers quitting or being fired. That was it. One faculty sponsor of the school's Gay Straight Alliance is having her contract terminated. Another is preparing to resign, and a third has been removed from the classroom. Good. Clear them out. Clear them out. I'm sick of this. Right? They can go. They can absolutely go. And so I think it's just the typical leftist whining. Oh no, they're preventing us from indoctrinating children. Yes, good. Get out.
If you appreciated that segment from the podcast The Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as this video, The Politics of American Psycho, between Harry and Thomas here. And if you want to follow what Harry's putting out, you can also follow him at Getter, of course, at Harry Lotus Eater on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.